How sweet 'tis to roam by the shore's lovely stream, and to hear the birds coo 'neath the morning sunbeam. Where the thrush and the robin their sweet notes entwine on the banks of the shore that flows down by Mooncoin. Flow on, lovely river, flow gently along, by your water so sweet sounds the lark's merry song. On your green banks I'll wander, where first I did join with you, lovely Molly, the rose of Mooncoin. Oh Molly, dear Molly, it breaks my fond heart to know that we two forever must part. I think of you, Molly, when sun and moon shine on the banks of the Suir that flows down by Mooncoin.
So here we are looking at the front elevation of Kilkenny Castle. This castle was built by William Marshall, the first Earl of Pembroke, and its construction began in 1195 and was completed by 1213. It is important to note that Marshall's father-in-law was Strongbow, who led the Normans to invade Ireland. In 1331 the Butler family were transferred into the castle, which they remained there until 1936, until the castle was handed over to the state. This castle was built on the River Nore. As you can see, it has a commanding view of the Nore. So as I bring the camera around, you can see not only does the castle have a commanding view upstream of the River Nore, but it also has a commanding view overlooking North Kilkenny and downstream towards Innisteague. The fact that this castle was built on the River Nore made it easy to get materials to the site, as they could be brought in from continental Europe as far as Innisteague and then shipped upstream to the castle. The fact also that the castle is up on a height overlooking the river meant that they could maintain a view on all trade and commerce that happened on the river, which was the main artery of the city at the time. Another key historical note to make about this castle is that during the 1640s it became the meeting place of the General Assembly of Parliament of the Confederate Irish Government, which meant that it became under scrutiny by Oliver Cromwell and had suffered badly under the siege of Cromwell's forces in 1650. As you can see here, we have two towers on either end of the castle, and a detailed survey carried out between 1654 and 1656 contains valuable information and describes the castle as only having 3 of its towers to this date. As you can see here at the rear view, we're missing one of the towers. Another key point to make on this castle is that when it was handed over in 1935, it was left in neglect and dereliction. Throughout the 1940s and 50s, various proposals were put forward about the future of the castle, but it was not until Mr. C.J. Little made a generous gift of £20,000 towards restoration work that serious intent could be followed up on. We're going to discuss the importance the castle plays as an amenity for the local people of Kilkenny. As you can see here, we're looking at the rear view of the castle which onto the grounds, which contain 21 hectares of native parkland, which contains both grassland and native woodland. Within the grounds we can see here there's a playground. This playground is crucial for the people of Kilkenny to help getting their kids out and active, and can get quite busy during the summer months. As we pan around here we can see some of the woodland which sits on the grounds of Kilkenny Castle. This helps act as a sanctuary for a lot of local wildlife. As we pan around here we can see much more mature native woodland in the background, but to the foreground we can see vast open area of green space, which can be a vital amenity to local people who live within the city with limited access to green space area. Now I'm going to discuss some of the intriguing pathways that can bring you around the grounds of Kilkenny Castle. Here I'm standing on a crossroad. This crossroad obviously brings you to 4 different areas. One area is the castle itself, and up this lane here we have the burial grounds of some of the butlers of Ormond who sat in power in the castle for many centuries. Other areas that these pathways can bring you to is the lake and the wildlife reserve within the castle grounds, and the other area down this direction can bring you down to the River Nore, which I will discuss the importance of to the castle. So here, as I said, up one of the laneways you'll find the burial ground of some of the butlers of Ormond, who sat in power within the castle from the early 13th century right up until 1936, before it was handed over to the people of Kilkenny. So now I'm going to speak to you briefly about the Kilkenny Castle Gateway. It is estimated that work commenced on this new classical gateway in and around the 1680s, which was inserted into the curtain wall of the castle. This is the same gateway that provides the principal entrance to the castle to this day. Sir Hugh May sent designs for this project, but it seems that he did not want his draft altered because he proposed to show the exact shape and beauty of the piers. There's conflicting evidence about the stone used on the original piers for the gate. One suggestion is that they were of Cayenne stone that had been shipped from France and brought up the river from Inistioge, while another commentator describes them as being of Portland stone. There is detailed correspondence throughout 1681 about the various difficulties raised by the scale of the piers, and some of these were referred to Sir Christopher Wren, the architect of St. Paul's Cathedral in London. Further problems such as batter of the wall and the amount of masonry that should be taken down were also discussed. In the end, the removal of sections measuring 6 foot to each side were suggested. Construction of this gateway seems to have been intermittent. Work continued during the second Duke's time, and Sir William Robinson is usually suggested as having been involved in the building of it, and it may be that the original plans as drawn up by Hugh May were not followed. Here is my model representation of the Kilkenny Castle Gateway. It is made using tankcast foam, which I found quite easy to model and shape. This is the first attempt I have ever made of making such a model, and I am quite happy with the overall outward appearance.